Yes. So, is the screen visible to all of you now? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So,
Yes,
what is
sir.
the reason for increasing number of the hunting? As we know that there is less awareness among the people. That what is the importance of these wildlife and what is the importance of this flora and fauna in sustainable development? And apart from such laws, we need to also go for what you can say awareness program. Take the help of NGOs, take the help of self-help groups, take the help of those environmentalists who can easily explain to the people, and also take the help of the people who are inhabiting in those particular areas, those forest dwellers and tribals. Community participation is again a very important aspect of conserving the wildlife in India. Right? And we have already discussed about it, why it is important to protect these wildlife, because they play certain role into the ecosystem. Fine. Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. Now we'll go to the next important topic. Yes, which topic I said? Traffic and sites. We will do that. Fine. So we will see what is at the international level is done for protection of the animals and plants. So there are various initiatives. Two important initiatives are called as traffic. So what do you think? This traffic is a intergovernmental organization, or it is a like voluntary organization? Is it visible to all of you? Can you all see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is the official website of this traffic. So first we will see what is traffic. What is traffic that is here? That is explained here. 1 second. Fine. Wildlife trade specially, that is what is explained here. So the importance of or the significance of this topic is that keep protecting natural biodiversity, supporting sustainable development. So that is what is the mission of the action on wildlife trade, right? So that is the mission of this organization. So working towards sustainable and legal wildlife trade. So wildlife trade should be there, but it should be a legal wildlife trade. That is what is the important function we should do with that. So wildlife trade is one of the world's most pressing conservation challenges, affecting hundreds of millions of people and thousands of wildlife species. Traffic is leading non-governmental organization. This is very important point which you need to know that, right? So the traffic is a leading non-governmental organizations working globally on trade in wild animals and plants in the context of both biodiversity conservation and sustainable development. Got it? So this is not an organization under the United Nations. It is an organization which is a voluntary organization, which is a non-governmental organization which is working globally on the issues of trade in wild animals and plants, right? So it is working towards sustainable and legal wildlife trade. That is what is explained here, and combating wildlife crime and illegal wildlife trade. That is also more both on both the sides of this trade. They are what you can say working on. So how legally the wildlife trade should be done, and how we can stop or how we can combat the crime related to the wildlife and the illegal wildlife trade. On these 2 points, they are what you can say focusing on. So focus on wildlife trade issues. Scroll to explore the current conservation and sustainability priority within the global wildlife. So that is explained here. They are trying to what you can say stop the timber trade. Timber means timber म्हणजे जे लाकूड लागतो त्याचा ट्रेड साठी ते थांबवण्याचं काम करत आहेत. And you can see it is also taking initiatives in trade in rhino, one what you can say horned rhino, which is found in India, right? We have seen it not only in India, it is also found in some of the Asian countries. It has also taken an initiative in the elephants and ivory trade. We know that majority of the elephants are killed for the ivory. Anyone knows what is ivory? Ivory means what?
Ivory is a stone, I think so.
Ivory is not stone. Ivory is the teeth of the elephant.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
मराठीमध्ये आपण त्याला हस्तिदंत म्हणतो. आणि with the help of this ivory, many what you can say the ornaments are what you can say formed. Many ornaments are what you can say created. So that is why it is high in demand. So around 20,000 elephants are still being killed each year. Demand for ivory continues to threaten the tiger in the long-term survival. Right. Similarly, here you can see that in the horn of the rhino is again one of the important what you can say the trading of the horn of the rhino is also one of the important what you can say reason for hunting of the rhinos. Now animals, then they are also focusing on the pangolin trade. Pangolin is again, it's the most trafficked mammal. Pangolin is the world's most trafficked mammal, 1 million poached in a decade. So at current trends may face extinction in the wild. So they are trying to protect this pangolin also. Remember the name of this animal, which is considered as one of the most trafficked mammal. Traffic means what? Traded mammal from one country to another country. That is what is called as trafficking. Fine. Yeah. Yes. Next is shark and ray trade. Sharks and ray trade are also what you can say that for they are protecting that. Then yes, these are initiatives taken by the traffic, which is an intergovernment. Sorry, which is a non-governmental organization. So some of the news related to them are explained here. So you can just check it out. Check it. Fine. You can collaborate. Means we are proud to collaborate with and to be supported by a wide range of NGOs, IGOs, and government departments and foundations. So you can see that this traffic is working with the NGOs, intergovernmental organizations, and government departments, and also various foundations to what we can say in to join and collaborate and stay informed on the wildlife trade issues, solutions, and threats facing conservation and sustainability. Fine. So this is all what you can say you need to know about the traffic. Yes. If you have any doubts, you can directly ask me. Because I can't see your messages. You can directly ask me if you have any doubts about it. Any doubts about the traffic? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Any doubts, Chandrasekhar?
No, sir.
Check it. So next is sites. We will also see about the site, what is there in the sites. Now this sites is a official, what you can say, the initiative started by the United Nations. So sites, we can say Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. So you got a difference between sites and traffic. Traffic is a voluntary organization which is not working under the United Nations Environment Program, which is not working under the UN, which is working independently, which is a non-governmental organizations where they are trying to collaborate with NGOs, intergovernmental organizations, private foundations, then what you can say even government departments are also a part of that traffic. But while CITES is a convention on international trade in endangered species and of wildlife or flora and fauna, right? So a convention has been signed many what you can say the countries. That is what is mentioned here. So it is the official website of the sites which we can see here. So what is the objective of these sites that you can see here? What is CITES, how CITES works, that is also given here. So CITES is an international agreement between governments. Its aim is to ensure the international trade in specimens of wild animals and plants do not threaten their survival. Can you all see this? Is it visible to all of you? Sabko dikhai de raha hai?
Yes, sir.
Check it.
Yes.
How CITES works, that also we need to know. How CITES works, that is also explained here. CITES listed species, there are some species which are listed in the CITES. So how CITES work, that is also explained here. So we will see it out how the CITES work. So CITES work by subjecting international trade in specimens of selected species to certain controls. All import, export, and re-export and introduction from the sea of species covered by the convention has to be authorized through a licensing system. Each party to the convention must designate one or more management authorities in charge of administering that licensing system and one or more scientific authorities to advise them on the effects of trade on the status of those species. So the species covered by the sites are listed in 3 appendices. Again, like we have seen that in Wildlife Protection Act, there is Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3, Schedule 4. Similarly, as per the sites, the 3 various appendices or 3 various lists have been created according to the degree of protection they need. So obviously 1, 2, 3 depend upon the degree of the protection. For additional information on the number and the tops of the covered by the convention, click here. So you can see which are those appendices. Here it is mentioned here, Appendix 1 and 2. Appendix 1 includes specimen threatened with extinction. So the list of in the Appendix 1 is about what? Those species which are threatened with the extinction. Trade in specimens of these species is permitted only in exceptional circumstances. And Appendix 2, that is Schedule 2, includes species not necessarily threatened with extinction, but which trade must be controlled in order to avoid utilization incompatible with the survival. So that is what is mentioned. Then Appendix 3 is the contains the species that are protected in at least one country. These are protected at least in one country, which has asked other site parties to assistance in controlling the trade. Changes of the appendix follow a distinct procedure for changes to Appendix 1 and 2, as each party is entitled to make the unilateral amendments to it. That is what is explained here. So you need to know about all these, what we consider appendixes. Fine. So what is the difference between sites and traffic? You got it? You read this information also. You just go through it once. So if any question is there, you will be able to, what we can say, find. You can able to find the answer in the exam. Okay. Now, structure of the sites, organization, how it works. What is the structure of this organization? That COP, that is conferences of the parties. Then plant committees, animal committee. There is a standing committee. Then there is a secretariat and United Nations Environment. What you can see, it works under the United Nations Environment Program. Got it? So all the countries which are signatories of these sites are supposed to cooperate with each other in protecting and conserving the plants and animals by allowing some species in trades and not allowing some species in trade. That is what is explained here. So which are the parties to the convention? Which are the countries who have signed, what you can say, these sites is explained here. So you can see here that which are the countries which have signed these what you can say, these sites agreement, that is explained here. Check it. List of parties, that is around 149 countries are the part of these sites. That you can just check it out. Fine. Then national sites authorities. So as per this, some national sites authorities have been created in India. You need to check it out which authority has been created as per the sites authorities or as per the sites agreement, that you need to see. Fine. So other information, there is cooperation and partnership between the countries, then certificate of commendation if any country is doing well in this protection of those animals and plants, and obviously a certificate of commendation is given by this organization. Then certificate of merits and how the site is financed, that is also explained here, and what is the internship program. So if you want, you can go for the internship programs in the sites. So how the sites is financed, that we will see. The core administrative cost of the secretariat, that is the conference of the parties and its subsidiary bodies, the standing committee and other permanent committees are financed from the sites trust fund. A fund is created, that is called a sites trust fund. This trust fund is replenished from the contributors from the parties to the convention based on the United Nations scale of assessment, adjusted to take account of the fact that not all members of the United Nations are parties to the convention. So the scale of the contributes to the trust fund of 2022 is shown in the here. So here you can see not all countries are, what you can say, compulsorily need to fund the sites, because not all the countries are the part of these sites. The status of contribution to the sites trust fund is mentioned here, that is what is explained. External funding is also mentioned here, that the status of external contribution to the sites fund is also shown here. So that is what is explained here. So the funding is not binding in all the countries. Countries can voluntarily give, what you can say, money for this trust fund. Fine. Check it. This is about the sites. Any other doubts? ठीक है. Which is the next topic which you need to see. Rupali, if anyone is having the list of the topics which I have discussed while discussing the question paper, you can give me the topics. We will discuss about it.
Sir, the
Sir.
Green India Mission.
Green
Sir,
India,
the National Park and Tiger Reserves in India.
National Parks and Tiger Reserves.
The Indian Forest Act 1927 that you said you would discuss.
Sorry.
Indian Forest Act 1927 and
Indian
Ramsar Convention.
Yeah, protection of the forest dwellers, right? Okay.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
before that, first we will discuss about the tiger reserves and national park, because we have done the biosphere reserves. So that is related to that biosphere reserves. So we will see national parks and tiger reserves in India, right? So actually it is a very long list, but I will just let you know what to study from this, what you can say, for this particular topic. So list of the tiger reserves, right? So all of you can go and check it out, list of the tiger reserves in India. There are various tiger reserves, but which are the important tiger reserves in India that we will see. Can all see the screen here? Is it visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, चलिए. So you can find it in Wikipedia. There are 50 tiger reserves in India, which are governed by the Project Tiger, which is administered by the National Tiger Conservation Authority. So NTCA was established in December 2005 following the recommendation of the Tiger Task Force constituted by the Prime Minister of India, reorganized management of the Project Tiger and many tiger reserves in India. So all these 50 tiger reserves are governed and administered under the NTCA, that is National Tiger Conservation Authority in India. So India is home to around 80% of the tigers in the world. In 2006, there were around 1411 tigers, which increased 1706 in 2010, and 2226 in 2014, and 2967 in 2018. So recently, a tiger census has been released. So India's tiger population is 33% increase. That is the news of the BBC. Right? Even Indian Express also have given news related to the increase of the tigers in India. What were the reasons why the number of the tiger increased? What were the reasons for the increasing number of that? All is explained here. So the Indian increases played a big role in driving up global population as well. The number of the wild tigers globally rose by 3159. So you can see out of the 3159 tigers in the world, 2967 tigers are only in India. So you can say that 80% of the tigers in the world are found in India, and they are found in the tiger reserves in India, right? So according to World Wild Fund 3890 in 2016, according to the World Wild Fund and the Global Tiger Forum, right? So World Wildlife Fund also we need to see what is this World Wildlife Fund. The World Wide Fund for Nature is an international non-governmental organization. Remember, this is also a non-governmental organization which was founded in 1961 that works in the field of wilderness preservation and reduction of the human impact on environment. It was formerly named as World Wildlife Fund. It was earlier named as World Wildlife Fund, but now it is renamed as World Wide Fund for Nature. Right? A fund is created obviously on voluntary donations, and since it is a non-governmental organization, many people do what you can say fund to this World Wild Fund for Nature, and with the help of those funds they try to what you can say preserve and reduction of the human impact on the environment. So as per World Wildlife Fund, that is WWF, the number of the tiger rose globally and also in India, right? So what is the goal of this tiger project? That is explained here. So one of the important goal of these tiger reserves is to ensure maintenance of viable population of the conservation dependent on Bengal tigers in India. We have seen that Bengal tigers are found in India. So the tigers are maintained for their scientific, economic, aesthetic, cultural, and ecological values, because we know that tigers have some scientific value, it has some economic value, it also has aesthetic value, it also has cultural and ecological values, and to preserve for all time areas of biological importance as a national heritage for the benefit education and enjoyment of the people, right? Do you think after only seeing the tiger, do you enjoy or do you feel enjoyment after seeing the tiger? How many of you seen tiger in wild? Not in, what you can say, not in television or not in videos, not in picture. किती जणांनी प्रत्यक्ष टायगरला बघितलेला आहे? Not in zoo again, but anyways, we have seen, many of us maybe we have seen tigers in the zoos, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But when we see it in, what you can say, the wildlife, it has a different, what you can see, a different type of, what you can say, the enjoyment, right? So ऐसे हो सकता है ना, like now we all can sit in the zoo now, but maybe like after 2-3 generation, people, if the number of the tiger is not protected, what will happen then? We have to show them the pictures of the tiger, that this is tiger, how the tiger used to look like. Fine. Chaliye. So going to, that is why it is very important to protect the number of tigers in India. So population assessment is given. There is a controversy related to the assessment of the tigers. So you can read it out. This will be useful for you for the mains, what you can say, the exam. So if there might be any questions related to the assessment of the tigers recently, the methodology which was used, there are some controversies regarding the methodology which was used for the census or counting the number of tigers in India. Okay, now going to the list of tiger reserves, you can see how many tiger reserves are located in which state. So you can see here that 526 tiger reserves are there in Madhya Pradesh, which is again one of the highest in the India, like which one of the highest tiger reserves are found in the Madhya Pradesh. Then 312 in Maharashtra, then 524 in, so this is number of tigers, I guess. Right, state-wise population of the tigers. Sorry, it is not the number of tiger reserves, it is the number of tigers. So 526 tigers are found in Madhya Pradesh, then 524 are found in Karnataka, 264 are found in Tamil Nadu, and 442 are found in Uttarakhand. So the total number is 2967. So that is what is explained here. Fine. So the state-wise number of the tiger is also explained here, and also the tiger reserve-wise is also found here. So you can say that 215 tigers are found in Corbett, and in Bandipur, which is in Karnataka, that is 120 tiger. Like, do you remember while discussing the Bandipur Biosphere Reserve, we have come across a term that Bandipur is having the second largest population of the tiger. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So
Yes, sir.
first is Jim Corbett, what you can say, Jim Corbett National Park, which is in Uttarakhand. Right. So do you remember Jim Corbett National Park was also an option in one of the question of the UPSC, which we have already discussed. That there was one question that Asiatic lions have been transferred in which of the following, what you can say, the state. That was the question. So obviously we know that Jim Corbett National Park is for the protection of the tigers. And obviously we cannot send Asiatic lions in the Jim Corbett, what you can say, the national park. But in that sense, that option of Jim Corbett National Park was wrong. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So this logic you need to, what you can say, use while finding out the answer. Then Kanha has 80, then Manas has 11, then Melghat has 25. I have visited this Melghat, what you can say, the tiger reserve in Maharashtra. I was also a part of the tiger census in 2007 or 2008. I don't remember, but it was in 2007. I went to Melghat in, what you can say, doing the census of the tigers. But unfortunately, sorry.
How's the census done?
Nowadays they are using the modern technologies, as Venkat said, that they are using the cameras. They are putting some cameras into the wild. The camera capture the photographs. Also, there is something called M stripes. Right? So M stripe, the question was asked in the 2018 prelims exam, that the term M stripe was recently seen. So some, what you can say, some of the GPS, what you can say, GPS technology or GPS caller IDs are used for what you can say, counting the number of the tigers. But when I went there at that time, this advanced technology was not available. We used to, what you can say, count the number of tiger by, what you can say, we were asked to, what you can say, sit on machan. Do you know what is machan? Machan means tree. What you can say, there is a, what you can say, space created at the trees. We have to sit in the what you can say, machan, which was created on the trees. And if any tiger comes at the, what you can say, at the below the trees, we have to make a note of it. And that, what you can say, tree was located near the water body. It was located in a near a lake, because most of the time tigers comes out to, what you can say, drink water in the night near the water body. So there was one tree where I was asked to sit in the tree located near the what you can say, that water body, and I was given a chart, and in that chart I just to mention that the tiger came from which direction and it went to which direction, so that there cannot be a duplication. Because what will happen, the tiger which I have seen, the same tiger may have been also seen by other person. The same tiger may move to the other region, right? So what we were supposed to do, that we were supposed to make a note that the tiger came from which direction and it went to which direction, so that the person who is sitting there also, he can also find out that the tiger came from this direction. It means what? It is the same tiger which went from this particular region. So we can count it as a one, we cannot duplicate it, right? So old methods of, what you can say, counting the tiger were, what you can say, absolute. There were some lacunae, there were some weaknesses in those old methods. But again, nowadays digital technologies have been used, like caller IDs and M stripes, to do the census of the tigers. Got it, Ritika?
Yes, sir. But it is pretty risky the way you described, as in.
No, it is not risky. We have given all the information that how you are supposed to do, because you are sitting in the tree. If the tiger comes, you are not supposed to make any noise. Even we were not allowed to take any plastic bottles. We were not allowed to take anything which can create noise. So obviously it is risky, but training is given to you before the census is done. ऐसे नहीं है कि आपको उठाकर लेके जाएंगे और बिठाएंगे और टाइगर के सामने खड़ा करेंगे, ऐसे नहीं है. Training is given. The training is given that what you should do and what you should not do. So there is a list of like what to do and what not to do. And yes, of course it is risky, but training is available to you. They also have given like, because what happens ki unless and until we don't what I can say, interfere in their daily routine, then obviously tiger may not attack you. Tiger only attacks you when you, what I can say, when you breach into their areas, right?
Yes.
Like many times we can see like कि तेंदुआ city में आया है, like तेंदुआ इस city में आया ऐसे बोला जाता है, but actually तेंदुआ city में नहीं आया है, city forest में चली गई है. It is not like कि it's not like that. Not like leopard has not entered into the city. Actually, cities have encroached their, what I can say, the habitats. That is the thing, right?
Yes.
Check it, chaliye. So Melghat has 25 tigers. Then Palmau has 3 tigers. So the list of the tiger is given. It is not important to, what I can say, memorize these, but you need to know which are the tiger reserves in India. So there are 50 tiger reserves in India, and they are located in which state, you need to know. And important tiger reserves are these. Which one? Like above, like Bandipur, Corbett, and Kanha. These are the important tiger reserves because they have one of the highest number of, what you can say, the tigers in India. Fine.
Yes.
Check it. Any doubts, Rupali, regarding the tiger reserves?
No.
I'm expecting a question in mains exam this year regarding the census and regarding the success of increase in the number of tiger in India. Why the number of tiger increased? What was the initiatives taken by the government? And still there are some apprehensions about the data declared by the government. So that you need to check it out. Many articles have been, what you can say, written in the Indian Express regarding the tiger census. So you can simply search tiger census in Indian Express. Okay, sorry, there was a disturbance in the network. So is it visible to all of you? Am I audible and visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How much time is left? Still 5 to 6 minutes are left. So we'll, what you can say, we'll discuss the wildlife sanctuaries in India. And then we will stop, and tomorrow we will go to the new topics again. Okay, can you all see the topic? Can you all see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is the difference between biosphere reserve, national park, and wildlife sanctuaries? We have already discussed about it. Biosphere reserves are the larger areas which may have some national parks and which may have some wildlife sanctuaries. No, what is the difference between national parks and wildlife sanctuaries? Can anybody explain me what is the difference between the national parks and wildlife sanctuaries? Yes, Chandrasekhar.
So national parks are a very limited zone
Hmm.
compared to wildlife sanctuaries. Wildlife sanctuaries, it's a large zone can.
No, no. It's not correct. It's not what you can say appropriate actually. Yes, can anybody explain me what is the difference between wildlife sanctuaries and national parks? Ritika, do you remember? I have discussed this already in my basic classes that what is wildlife sanctuaries and what is national parks.
Wildlife is a place where the species and the animals and the wildlife is protected. And national park, I think, is country.
Okay, so difference between national park and wildlife sanctuary is that national park is protected or what you can say preserved by like maintaining the whole ecosystem. There is no target of one particular species or there is no target of one particular what you can say. Like for example, suppose if I want to preserve and or what you can say increase the number of the tiger, I cannot only target tiger. I have to what you can say preserve and conserve the other species in that ecosystem, right? Because tiger can only be protected if I protect the deers, if I protect other animals which are dependent on the deer. If I protect what you can, if I want to protect deer, then I have to protect the grasslands, right? So it is a holistic approach of protection of the preservation of animals and plants. But in sanctuaries, wildlife sanctuaries, one particular what you can say the animal is focused in the wildlife sanctuaries. For example, wild ass, which is found in the run of Kutch. So that run of Kutch wild ass sanctuary is focused only on that particular what you can say the animal, that is wild asses. Like in Solapur, we have one bird that is called as Great Indian Bustard Sanctuary. So that bird sanctuary is focusing in the protection of that particular what you can say the bird, and that is why it is called as the bird sanctuary. Got it? So wildlife sanctuaries are focused on or are protected for protection of one particular what you can say the particular wild animals or plant. Clear?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
So there are many such wildlife sanctuaries in India. There are many such, like there are obviously the list of the wildlife sanctuaries. You can see that there are total around 96 wildlife sanctuaries in India. In each, that is in one particular state. That was only in the just let me check it out. Andaman and Nicobar Islands. You can see Andaman and Nicobar Islands has one of the highest number of what you can say the wildlife sanctuaries in India. Right. So again, you don't need to remember each and everything, but important wildlife sanctuaries, you need to just check it out. So here the list of the wildlife sanctuaries are given in India, which are those. So or you can go what you can say, you can go the important wildlife sanctuaries in your state if you want to know about it, right? Here you can see Kutch Desert Wildlife Sanctuaries, which is for run, which is what you can say wildlife sanctuaries to protect the what you can say to protect the wild ass which is found in there. There are various bird sanctuaries which we are not.
even possible
Sorry.
to
Hello. Hello. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you don't need to see all, you just need to see all those which are given here in the what you can say in the list, like, and you don't need to go into the detail, like you just put your cursor and whatever information you are getting it, that only you need to read for all the wildlife sanctuaries in India, right? Even if you don't remember, that's fine, no problem. Important wildlife sanctuaries, you can just check it out so that in exam you will be able to find out the answer. And because we have seen that even if you don't know the what you can say exact information, but you can find out the answer by eliminating it, right? In Maharashtra, we can say that Great Indian Bustard Sanctuary, GIB Sanctuary, which is located in the Solapur, right? So in this also, I have participated in the census of this Great Indian Bustard. Sanctuary is a wildlife sanctuary for the Great Indian Bustard at Solapur, Maharashtra. The land is drought prone and semi-arid. It is in the Deccan, that thorn scrub. So that is explained here. So the Great Indian Bustard Sanctuary, which is found in our what you can say the district. Fine. So you can just go through. It lists you can what you can say, check the wildlife sanctuaries or the bird sanctuaries in your state, like from where you belongs to. Fine. Chaliye. Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, so shall we stop?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much. We'll continue tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.